Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now for those that follow the channel, you'll know that I'm an iRacing guy through and through, and as a result I get lots and lots of questions about iRacing and how to set things up. Now I have covered some of these topics previously in separate videos, but I thought I would combine them all together for those of you that are new to the iRacing service, just to help you along the way. So in this video we're going to go over 6 things which should hopefully improve your iRacing experience. So the first and probably most important thing we're going to talk about is making sure that you've got the correct field of view. Now, this is what my field of view is now, and to you that'll probably look quite zoomed in and tunnel vision, but obviously I've got 2 monitors either side of my center screen. Now by default on iRacing you're probably going to have a view something like this. So you've got quite a good view out of the front windscreen. You can see the left mirror, see all the dash, the steering wheel, the rear view mirror. But that's not necessarily the correct field of view. So what you need to do is you need to go to the iRacing options to make sure that it's set correctly. And it's dead easy to do. So this is probably the first thing you should do when you start iRacing. So on the left, make sure your resolution's ticked, the correct resolution for your monitor. Multi-projection won't be ticked neither, you'll be on one screen there. So this is the bit that we need to focus on the right hand side. So we need to measure the monitor width of or the full monitor width, so from outside to outside. Put that number in there either in inches or in millimeters. And then we've got the visible width excluding the bezel, so the pixels, what you can see on your main monitor, put that number in there. Then the viewing distance, so you need to put in the viewing distance from your eyes to the center screen. So maybe get somebody to help you. Just sit in your normal driving position, get somebody to measure from your eyes to the center screen and put that number in there. Then that will calculate the correct field of view. Now that may well, I'll just put this back to triple screens here so it doesn't look all funky on mine. So that may well then put you something like this, which is much more zoomed in than it was before, and you won't have the side screens. You've very much got the blinkers on, tunnel vision, but then what you see out of the screen is a true representation of what you would see in a real car. So it's very, very important to make sure that you assign buttons on your wheel to look left and look right, because obviously you may not have the side screens there. So look left, look right. Make sure your field of view is correct. Then we'll get onto the brakes. So we're going to talk about pedals now and the importance of a particular setting in the options, and that is brakes, the force factor. Now by default this is set to 1.80. Now you can see there at the bottom it says that adjust to control your brake response to pedal input. So for potentiometer pedals, recommended is 1.6 to 2.0, and 0 for linear pedals such as load cells, such as Husingvelds, Fanatec's and all that kind of stuff. But entry level pedals with springs or potentiometer, they recommend that having that at 1.6 to 1.8. Now I have it at 0 all the way to the left, obviously. So you can see I've got Husingveld Ultimate, so the actual force required to push it to 100 to maximum is ridiculous. So I'll try and hold a constant pressure on the pedal there, and you can see what this number does. So if we move it from left to right, you can see I'm not moving my pedal, but you can see that that value is going down. So if you're having trouble in cars such as the Cup car or any other car without ABS and you're locking the wheels, you can play with this number to suit you. But with load cell pedals all the way to the left, any of the pedals that have springs or potentiometers, you can play around with this number to find a sweet spot where you're not locking up the wheels. And then you can click on this box at the bottom, use custom controls for this car, save that for the Cup car, for example, jump at a GTE, you can do the same, then save that for the GTE. So whenever you jump in, this number is going to be correct all the time. But all the way at the left for load cells, anything else, play with this number just to get the sweet spot to suit you. So one of the most common errors I see people making is when you first start iRacing, you're in the rookies and D class. Well, in those series you have a fast repair, which means that if you do get damage, you can go into the pits and repair your car within a second, and then you're back out racing. But if you look in the bottom right, by default, if you cycle through your black boxes to the fuel black box, you'll see that we've got fast repair ticked at the bottom, which is what we need if we want to get our fast repair. But also we've got windshield tear off ticked and begin fueling. Then if you look on your tyre black box, you will see that all 4 tyres are ticked, which means that whenever we go into the pits, it's going to change all those 4 tyres, and it's also going to put 20 litres of fuel in the car, and it's also going to give us a windshield tear off. But in the rookies and D class, we don't want that. All we want is our fast repair. So if we've got damage on the outlap, I mean, we might get damage on this outlap. So we might have had a bit of a mishap. Apologies to the Mercedes that I crashed into accidentally. But we do have terminal damage. There's no way we can continue the race. We need to get in the pits for the fast repair. But because we've got everything ticked, all 4 tyres and the fuel, well, we're going to be stuck in the pits for a long time. So that's very important. But there is a way of telling iRacing to untick those by default. So we'll go in. I think our guys, first one here. We'll get in here. Really, we want to be in and out. But now it's refueling, as you can see, on bottom right. Putting 20 litres of fuel in. And then, here we go. We're changing our tyres. So we should have been exiting the pit lane round about now. But there's nothing we can do because we left them ticked. Just got to wait. 36 seconds we sat there when we didn't have to. Right, I'll show you now. There's a very, very simple change in one of the documents in the iRacing folder that we can make so that doesn't ever happen again. Now this is the change we're going to make. Now follow these steps and I promise you won't go wrong. Really easy. So we're going to my documents and we're looking for the iRacing folder. There it is. So we'll double click that. And then we're looking for a file called app. So it's app.ini. So this has got some configuration settings in for the sim. So we right click on that file, say open with, and click on Notepad. And then this pops up. Now, this might look a little bit scary, first of all. But we're just going to scroll down and we're going to look for the section which relates to pit stops. Where are we? There we go. It's just down here, pit service. So you've got 2 options in this. So the first one is auto reset fast repair equals 1. Now 1s and 0s. So 1s means yes, essentially, and 0 means no. So 1 is on, 0 is off. So auto reset fast repair 1. Well, we want that on 1. We want that on when you leave the pits. So this automatically requests fast repair service once your vehicle exits pit road. So we want that left on 1. Now the next one, auto reset pit box equals 1. So this automatically requests a full pit service once your vehicle exits pit road. Essentially, that ticks all of your tyres, ticks the refueling, ticks the windshield tear off. We don't want that. So we're just going to delete the 1 and replace it with a 0. And that's it done. So we just click on File, Save, and you can close that document there. So as you can see, we've just jumped in the sim. The tyres are unticked. The fueling, the windshield tear-off's unticked. The only thing that is ticked is the fast repair. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is UI. What you see on screen and how you can manipulate it and change things to suit you. Now, by default, I don't know where the black box is now, it's maybe on the left. I've got it on the right. You can see on there we've got the pit lane, speed limit, the mirror, the black box. On the right you've got some radio information and the telemetry. If you want to move those around, all you do is you hold Alt and you press K. Then you can see now that these have got like a green tint on them now, and we can now move these wherever we want them. You can move the mirror down, but there's not a great deal on there that you can change. If you press Alt and K, that locks that into position, and next time you start the sim, that's where everything would be. But where are the flags? Where is the delta bar? Where are the start, the green lights? There's lots and lots of information on there that we can't see now that you see during the race. And what happens if you want to change those? Do you have to wait until somebody speaks in the race so you can move the comms box? Well, no you don't, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to do it now. So what you need to do, you need to exit the sim and come back into the documents folder. So again, we're going to look for the iRacing folder, and again it's this app INI file. So I'm going to right click that and say open with Notepad, and then this box will appear. Now we want to scroll down on the left hand side until we see graphics. So the one that we're looking for now is force visible when move. So this force all movable controls to become visible when moving UI elements. Now we need to change that from a 0 to a 1. Then you go up to File, Save, and then jump back in the sim. Right, so we're back in the sim. As you can see, the relative box is in the top right where we left it. The mirrors drop down. So now if we press Alt and K, look at all that. So now we can see the flags, we can see the lights, we can see the split time box there, the delta bars up here at the top, the voice chat there, the driving controls have now appeared down the bottom, the session timer, your frames per second. Everything's on there now that you would need during the race. However, all this is limited to the main screen. So if you're on a single screen, then the next bit doesn't apply to you. But if you're on triples or an ultra wide, then it does. Now, I'm flicking that relative box left and right, and I can't get it onto my side screen, which you can see here. But there's a way to be able to move any of this UI that you can see on here onto your side screens, and we're going to do that now. So this means another trip back into the iRacing folder. So we find the iRacing folder. Again, it's the app file, so it's app.ini. So we right click that and say open with Notepad. This pops up again. So we scroll down to where we were earlier on, to graphics. And we changed that last time, force visible when moved to a 1. The next thing we need to change is this drive UI full screen. That's on 0. So this lets triple-headed drive in UI expand to fill full display. So that means that at the moment, all of the UI is only movable on the main screen, the center screen. If we change that from a 0 to a 1, click Save. We can then move that to the side monitors, which I'll show you that now. So I thought the best way of showing you this was with the GoPro, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So now you can see all of the UI is on the center screen. So if you press Alt and K, you can see that everything's highlighted that it was before. Now, I use different flags when I'm racing, so I don't have these flags here on my main screen, but I do have them where I can see them. So what I can do now is I can move that over there, and it's on my left screen. You can't see it, but I can. Same with my split time box, that normally sits up here somewhere. And my relative, I normally have that down there on the left hand side. But we can move these right across anywhere we like them on any of the 3 screens. So there we go, a little demo to show you that it can be moved just by making that one small change. And then you press Alt and K, and then it's locked into position. So one of the things that I think makes iRacing stand out is the ability to choose pretty much whatever paint you want, and that's by using a very small program called Trading Paints. Now this, what you can see here now, these are the paints provided by iRacing, and they're alright, they're good, they're alright, they're fine, they do the job. Some of them are pretty snazzy, but there's nothing there really. There's no sponsors on there, there's no personal paints. These are just the ones provided by iRacing. So, small program called Trading Paints. I'll show you where to get that now. So, the website is tradingpaints.com. Now, anybody in your race that's running Trading Paints, their paints will load up in your sim when you start the race. Now, all you need to do is you create an account. It's free. There is a pro version that you can pay for, but the majority of people, I would imagine, will use the free service. You click on the, when you've created an account, click on this little racing driver up here and install downloader. That will install the piece of software on your system. Now, once you've installed Trading Paints, this little dialog box will open. You can click this for advanced options, but if you tick this one, Start Trading Paints on System Startup, it doesn't take any resources really. Then you'll never forget to start it when you start iRacing. Now, that's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else with this at all. Dead easy. Just install the software, take the Start Trading Paints on System Startup, minimize it, forget about it. Now, this is the same race as before. It's a replay. I've started Trading Paints. I've just brought this box up just to highlight what it does. So it downloads the paints for all these cars that are on the grid. You'll see them start to change slowly as they all load into the system. And then you'll see the dramatic change that this has to the grid. So once they're all loaded in, we'll have a look. There we go. We'll have a little look now at the difference. So they're all got sponsors on, personal paints. It's just much more interesting than it was before. Where am I? I think I was running the Race Labs paint. There I am. That's me there. I was running the Race Labs paint. But it's much more interesting than just the bog standard iRacing paint. So to change the paint on whatever car you want, if you just go on to My Paints, and then it lists all the cars on iRacing. So if we want to change the paint on the Ford 2017 GTE car, click that, and it'll show you the paint that you're running now. Well, I think that's just oh no, I think I downloaded that one actually. So if you wanted to change the paint, up on the top right you click choose paint, choose new paint, and find a paint. And I always click find more paints. There you just scroll. It's just like a gallery of paints which you can choose. And if you see one that you like, click it. And then it gives you like a display of the template of the paint. That's what it looks like in the sim. If you want to race it, you just click race this paint, confirm. That easy. That's all you need to do. Nothing else. Racing this paint. So when you load up the sim in the Ford, that's the paint that's going to be displayed. So what we're going to talk about now is spotters. Now, the spotter in iRacing is fine. It does the job, perfectly functional. But for a little bit more authenticity, I use two alternatives. On the roadside, I use one called the Crew Chief. Now, you can find that at thecrewchief.org. So once you put that in, you register, totally free, register for an account. Go to the top options in the forum there, download Crew Chief for PC. It'll download that on your system, run the installer. It'll probably come up with a Windows warning message. Are you sure this is safe? Just click yes, it's completely safe. Install the program and then run it. Now, when you run the program for the first time, you'll probably have to update these 3 boxes here. You just click them, they'll be green, click them, and it'll download them and update the name files and all that kind of stuff. Then above that, you can change the background noise volume. So there's the sound of pit lane in the background. I don't particularly like that. And then the messages volume, that's the sound of your crew chief. On the game there, you've got various games that crew chief works with. That's the beauty of crew chief. You can use it on all different kinds of sims. But there we've got iRacing. On the right hand side, we've got my name. That's what your crew chief will call you. So if we wanted to call ourselves Bob, just type in Bob in and press return. Then it's telling you that the program needs to be restarted. Click that. And there we go. Quick as you like. It's back up and running. And then from now on, it'll call us Bob. So chief voice, we can't choose that. We can't change that. Sorry. Spotter voice, we've got a few different ones to choose from. I use Jim by default. And then we just click on Start Application.
Radio check.
And there we go. That's it running. So if you did want to make some changes, there's loads and loads of options that you can mess around with and change to your liking. So you've got to stop the application, click on Properties. This box will pop up. So the game filter there, iRacing, because we selected that on the main screen. And we've got some categories in the middle there we can change. So flags and rules. This is where it'll tell you if you go off track, it'll give you a warning, all that kind of stuff. Play cut track warning. I have that off because I go off track a lot. It drives me insane. Pit stops. You can change all things in there for pit stops. Miscellaneous. There's other settings in there. Settings in there for it to swear at you. F and Jeff. If that's your thing. I don't have it on. But there we go. Crew Chief. Really, really good program. And that's what I use on the road side. But on the oval side, I use something completely different. Now on the oval side, I use the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack. And you can get this at dwarehouse.com. Now there's 2 versions of this. There's the standard pack and there's the cuss pack if you want your spotter to give you a hard time and throw the odd expletive your way. I run the standard pack and you just click on the executable file there, click that, download it, run it, install it, dead easy, and then run the simulator. So once you're back in the simulator, if you go to sound and then we've got spotter here, if you're using Crew Chief on the roadside, then just disable this, just untick it, and you won't get the iRacing spotter. But if you're using the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack on the oval side or wherever on the roadside, it's up to you. Then enable spotter and then voice pack. This is where you can change the voice pack. And there's loads to choose from there. But what we want, when you've installed it, the JJ spotter pack will be there. Click that and that's it done. And then you've now got the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack installed. Then all I do, if I go on the roadside, I untick that box. If I go on the roadside, I tick that box and don't run Crew Chief. Dead easy, but improves the simulation massively. So when you've been on iRacing a little while, you might want to do some longer races such as the VRS Sprint, the Le Mans Series or IMSA. Well, in those series, you need to pit stop for fuel. Now, working out how much fuel you need is a bit of a pain in the backside. There's lots of programs that do it for you, or you can do it manually by taking note of how much fuel you have at the start of your run, do 20 or so laps, then work out how much fuel you've used and work out your average. But there's a really, really easy way and it involves a piece of software that we've just installed. And that piece of software is Crew Chief. Now, we've just installed it for the spotter, but you can also use this for your fuel and it will do it all automatically. You don't have to worry about it. So to set up the fuel calculator in Crew Chief, you can set up push to talk, voice activation, all that kind of stuff, or you can just let Crew Chief do it for you so you don't have to worry about it. So all you do is you go into properties and then you go into pit stops and multiclass. Now there's an option down here, there in the middle, enable iRacing auto refueling when entering the pits in a race. If you want Crew Chief to refuel you, you tick that box and then you click on save changes, then exit. Now, you need to tell Crew Chief how much fuel extra you want to put in so you don't run out. Now that all depends on the length of the circuit. So we'll go back in here into the options, and we'll this time go into fuel, temperatures and damage. Now here at the bottom there it says additional fuel to add to finish the race number of laps worth. Now I have mine set on normal circuits that are normally 1 minute 40 long, 1 minute 50 long. I have that set to 0.3, so it'll give me a third of a lap extra than what I need. But on the Nordschleife, you don't want a third of a lap because that's like 3 minutes extra fuel. So you can change this number to 0.1, or if you wanted a full lap of fuel, you put it at 1.0. Really, really easy, and you just need to change that figure depending on the track that you're running. So the only ones that you would need to change it for are the likes of Le Mans and the Nordschleife. So dead easy. You've already got the software on there. Why not use the built-in fuel calculator? So there we go. 6 things that you can do to improve your iRacing experience. None of them will cost you a single penny. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video. Like it, subscribe if you want to see more, all the rest of it. If you've got any suggestions for other things that you want me to go over and talk about more in detail, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers.